Good morning, students. Today, I want to give topics of amines. In previous lecture, we learned about the physical properties of amines. In that, I explained basic nature, covalency, hydrogen bonding, etc., etc. I think you done well that one. Now, today, I want to start topics of chemical properties of amines. Basically, chemical properties means chemical reactions. Till today, you learn so many types of chemical reactions. In that, addition, substitution, elimination, etc., etc. But these are primary. Now, as per your increasing level, we can say that some different types of chemical reactions you are going to study now in this 12th standard. In that, we are going to learn alkylation of amines. In that, first method is Hofmann's exhaustive alkylation, then Hofmann elimination, then acylation of amines. Then we'll see carbylamine reaction, then reaction with nitrous acid means HNO2. Step by step, we'll discuss. In alkylation of amines, first one is Hofmann exhaustive alkylation. In that, you know, RNH2 means primary amine. When this primary amine is heated with excess of primary alkyl halide, it gives mixture of secondary tertiary amines along with tetraalkyl ammonium halide means quaternary ammonium salt. We'll see the reaction. In reaction, RNH2 means primary amine that you knows very well. It reacts with RX means alkyl halide. From this NH2, hydrogen of NH2 group that can be reacts with halogen, this halogen of the alkyl halide. Then by replacing one hydrogen atom of this amino group by alkyl group, we can get R2NH. Means in these two reactions, we can see that there is decrease of the hydrogen and increase of the alkyl group. That's why it is called alkylation reaction. Remember. Secondly, Rx means alkyl halide. In that, again, one more H of this NH group can be replaced by halogen atom, and from that we'll get R3N. Of course, it is what tertiary amine. Again, we'll continue further addition of the Rx alkyl halide. Now, on nitrogen atom of this tertiary amine, there is no replaceable hydrogen atom, but alkyl group though going to attack to the nitrogen atom because nitrogen atom has the electron donating nature. That's why X means halogen atom that can be attached to nitrogen, and rest of alkyl groups also goes to another side. We'll get R4N plus X minus. This is quaternary ammonium salt known as tetraalkyl ammonium halide. Now, if we going to use excess of the alkyl halide, then it can be used as the tetraalkyl ammonium halide that can be obtained as the major product. The reaction is known as exhaustive alkylation of amines. Now the tetraalkyl ammonium halides, these are called as quaternary ammonium salt, just I told, which are crystalline in nature, and these are solids. They are the derivatives of ammonium salts. Ammonium salts like ammonium chloride and that, in which all the four hydrogen atoms are attached to the nitrogen in NH4 are replaced by four alkyl groups that might be either same or different. Later on, we'll see the primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. They use or consume 3 or 2 or only 1 moles of the alkyl halide respectively to get converted into the quaternary ammonium salt. Why these words are used 3 to 1? Because If there are three replaceable hydrogen atom or the amino group, then you can use three. For two hydrogen, you can use two alkyl halide like that. And finally, we are getting what? Quaternary ammonium salt. In this exhaustive method, the final product is almost quaternary ammonium salt. The reaction can be carried out in presence of mild base, weak base like sodium bicarbonate. It is used to neutralize large quantity of hydrogen halide HX like HCl, HI, HBr. Normally HCl we are using form in this reaction. If the alkyl halide is methyl iodide, then the reaction is called as exhaustive methylation amine because in spite of alkyl we want to add what methyl group, that's it, what methylation. So it is called as exhaustive methylation of amines. For example, when methylamine in that it is heated with excess of the CH3I means methyl iodide, finally we will get tetramethyl ammonium iodide. But this reaction we can perform by three steps. Step 1 is CH3NH2 plus methyl iodide by heating will get CH3 twice NH plus HI. How? Because from this one H that can be replaced by one methyl group. That's why we'll get CH3 twice NH plus HI. Now this product of the first reaction is secondary amine and starting material is primary amine. Now this secondary amine used as the reactant of the second step. CH3 twice NH in that it is heated with CH3I. Again this hydrogen atom going to replaced by methyl group. That's why we'll get CH3 thrice N means trimethyl amine plus HI. Then continue further reaction. CH3 thrice N means trimethylamine tertiary amine plus CH3I. By heating it gives CH3 4N plus I minus. So it is tetramethyl ammonium iodide. So this product is the final product of this reaction is called also called as tetra alkyl ammonium iodide or tetra alkyl ammonium salt. Its actual name is tetramethyl ammonium iodide. Remember this one. Now second method we'll see Huffman elimination. Elimination means something going to eliminate, removed out. That's what elimination. Here tetra alkyl ammonium halide is heated with moist silver oxide. What is the moist silver oxide? Ag2O reacts with water molecule. That is what moist silver oxide. It gives quaternary ammonium hydroxide, which is deliquescent crystalline solid and strongly basic like NaOH or KOH. Then quaternary ammonium hydroxide on strong heating undergoes beta elimination to give an alkene. This reaction is called as Huffman elimination. The least substituted alkene that can be obtained as a major product, and it is in contrast to the Sedzep elimination reaction. Now Sedzep elimination reaction in that there is formation of the double bonded compound alkene in which we are going to think about the hydrogen which contain what less the number of hydrogen atom. But this elimination is what contrast of this rule. For example, CH3 CH2 CH2 N plus CH3 thrice N I minus plus AgOH. This AgOH is obtained from Ag2O plus H2O. You can do this one. By that we will get AgOH. Actually it is not stable, but we can get from moist oxide, silver oxide with water molecule, and another reagent will get AgOH. Now on arrow moist Ag2O by heating we can get the intermediate step, that is CH3 CH2 CH2 and CH2 CH3 CH2 CH3 then CH2 CH3 OH minus. Now here N plus and OH minus. Of course it is what salt. On the nitrogen atom, how many groups are attached here? This first ethyl group, this second ethyl group, and last one is the third ethyl group. These three ethyl groups are attached to the nitrogen atom. That's why it is N triethyl propane ammonium hydroxide. Then in this reaction From this beta elimination, now here indication, from this nitrogen left side first carbon is alpha, then second is beta, next one is the gamma. But here beta elimination they said, means from beta hydrogen, from beta carbon hydrogen atom can be removed out, as well as there is breaking. That's why we'll get CH2 double bond CH2 plus CH3 CH2 CH2 and CH3 CH2 CH3, then CH2 CH3. This product is called as NN diethyl propylamine, which is quaternary. Then acylation of amines. Acylation means addition of acyl group. In that, aliphatic aromatic primary and secondary amines undergoes acylation reaction. These amines contain replaceable hydrogen atom, positively polarized hydrogen on the nitrogen atom. These hydrogen atoms are replaced by acyl groups such as acetyl group, means CH3CO group. In this reaction, amines with acetyl chloride or acidic anhydride we can do, or we can use acetyl derivative of the amine, that is the final product. It is also called amide or amide. Here amide is less basic than that of the amine. Acylation is a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Why? Because here nucleophiles are working. That's a nucleophilic substitution reaction. And normally what happened? Weaker nucleophile that can be substituted by stronger nucleophile. That is the general stanza or main theme of this reaction. In this reaction we can carry out in presence of strong base like pyridine, which can be neutralize the acid which is produced during the course of this reaction. Later on actual reaction we'll see. In that example, C2H5NH2 means ethanamine. It reacts with CH3C double bond OCl means ethanoyl chloride, or you may say acetyl chloride. This reaction you can perform in presence of pyridine. You know pyridine is the weak base. From that we'll get C2H5NH2 plus then CO minus ClCH3. Then in further step we'll get N-ethyl ethanamide along with HCl. Here formation of HCl is there, and to neutralize this HCl there is a use of this pyridine base. Secondly, CH3NHCCH5, it is N-methyl aniline plus acetyl chloride or ethanol chloride. In presence of pyridine it gives CH3NCCH5 C double bond of CH3 along with Cl. Again it is N-methyl N phenyl ethanamide. So this is the main product. Here benzoyl chloride also gives similar reaction with amines. Carbylamine reaction. In carbylamine reaction, in that we can get aliphatic or aromatic primary amines on heating with chloroform to give full offensive smelling products called alkyl or aryl isocyanates or carbylamines. And this reaction is a test for primary amine. Secondary and tertiary amine do not give such type of tests. Actual reaction we'll see. In this reaction, RNH2 means primary amine. In this primary amine, there is addition of chloroform along with KOH. By heating, we'll get RNC means alkyl isocyanate plus thrice KCl and thrice H2O. This alkyl isocyanate also called as carbylamine. That's why this reaction is called as carbylamine reaction. Later on, we'll see fifth one is the reaction with nitrous acid with HNO2. In that, primary, secondary and tertiary amines reacts differently with nitrous acid, and the reaction of only primary amines will be considered here. So nitrous acid is the unstable product or compound. That's why it can be prepared in situ, means it is the autoclave. In that, addition of aqueous sodium nitrate or hydrochloric acid, already it is mixed with the substrate, and that is the amine. Then aliphatic primary amines on reaction with nitrous acid, and they form aliphatic diazonium salt. These diazonium salts are very unstable because in that two nitroatoms are observed. That's why they can be decomposed immediately by reaction with solvent like water. Then in this corresponding alcohol also form, as a product of the reaction and nitrogen gas that can be liberated over here. Now we'll see the reaction. RNH2 means primary amine. It reacts with nitrous acid means HNO2. The reaction condition is it can be carried out at 273 to 278 Kelvin between this one. Now how to prepare nitrous acid? It is the simple mixture of NaNO2 plus HCl. Means sodium nitrite plus HCl, from that we'll get HNO2 along with NaCl. Now this HNO2 only we want to use for this purpose. We'll get the intermediate Rn2Cl minus, that is of alkyl diazonium chloride. It reacts with water molecule. It gives alcohol along with liberation of N2 gas and HCl. Aromatic primary amines, they reacts with nitrous acid and they form diazonium salts. These diazonium salts have reasonable stability at 273 Kelvin. Now how these are stable? These are stable at low temperature only. If you want to increase the temperature, stability disturb and they become unstable. Now this aniline reacts with nitrous acid between the range of 273 to 278 Kelvin in presence of nitrous acid that can be prepared from sodium nitrate and Cl. It gives benzene along with N plus triple bond and Cl minus. Here observe triple bond. That's why they charges over the nitrogen plus and over the Cl minus. So it is a salt salt. This salt is called as benzene diazonium chloride. Now aryl diazonium salts are resonance stabilized and these are useful as very versatile intermediate and they try to obtain a variety of products. We'll start the resonance structure, how these are resonating. Remember, when any benzene ring, if you observe, in benzene ring there are delocalization of electrons. How these electrons are delocalized? You know, in benzene alternate single and double bonds are there. Means sigma bonds between the carbon carbon in around every carbon in the ring, as well as alternately we'll see the presence of pi bond. You know, sigma bonds are stronger bonds and pi bonds are weaker bonds. So who going to delocalize electrons easily? Of course, pi bond electrons are delocalized easily. That's why these pi electrons are easily shifted toward the neighboring electron withdrawing group or atom. On that basis, we have to learn the stability of the aryl diazonium salt. Now here, in this example I gave, on benzene, nitrogen is attached over that triple bonded, one more nitrogen atom is attached. You know the last nitrogen has what lone pair of electron and the previous one on the benzene ring or the nitrogen, it has what positively charged. Actually, you know, basically the valency of nitrogen atom is only 3. But here we'll observe this nitrogen atom has got 4 valency. Valence is disturbed by giving electrons from the nitrogen, and those who are giving electron they has to acquire what positive charge. Like that, this nitrogen has got positive charge. Now this diazonium salt, it can be reacts with electrons are shifted from this pi bond toward the electron deficient nitrogen, and from this triple bond again electrons are shifted toward the last one nitrogen, and that's why the structure becomes like this. In this structure, here a double bond, and from this double bond pi electrons are shifted over here, and these electrons shifted over here toward the final nitrogen. Now here, uh, actually here double bonds are required. By mistake, you can get correction. Here double bonds between nitrogen and here these double bonds are required over here in this way. Later on, same position will carried out. These electrons shifted over here. That's why double bonds are like this. And over the benzene again, double bond N plus N minus. Now you can make correction in your book. At this position, double bond required. Okay. Then next position. Whenever this shifting of the electron, that time that carbon located by what positive sign? Here positive, here also positive. Then electrons are shifted from this double bond toward this positive. That's why here double becomes what single, and here double bond. and again electrons are shifted from this nitrogen negative towards double bond. Again these are shifted toward over here. That's why we can get the structure like this: n plus triple bond n with lone pair of electron, and here we'll get double bond now at this position, and this positive charge is going to remove out in this structure. Now structure number 1 and structure last structure, actually both are same, but by which means these are different? These are different by the means of the resonance stability. In first structure, we'll see the electrons are double bond electron, or double bonds of the benzene or double bonds of the aromatic compounds are like this: one, two, three. And here by shifting this one as well as this one as well as this one, by shifting such type of electrons, we can get the last final structure. It is n plus triple bond n with the benzene ring. And the difference is what? From this one, double bonds are shifted over here, so double becomes single, single becomes double. So in this way, they try to provide the stability toward the aryl diazonium salt, and this stability can be provided with the help of resonance. So these are resonance stabilized structures of the aryl diazonium salts. Students, today I gave the basic property or chemical properties of the aromatic compounds of primary, secondary, tertiary amine, aliphatic amine as well as aromatic amines. You learn this one very well because these are very important topics as per the concern of your board final exam. And if in that any query you may ask anytime, better you study better and try to revise the topic again and again. Take care. All the best. God bless you. Thank you.